What's up, guys? Good morning. Day 2 in the Rhino Live Show. Morning edition. Still early out there. I got to head in for a meeting this morning, so figured I'd go ahead and put a show together on my drive in. A lot of questions about, is Virginia Tech a better program than South Carolina? This all comes about with Justin Fuente being let go as the head coach of Virginia Tech. Now people are wondering, would Virginia Tech pursue Shane Beamer? And honestly, I think nationally, Virginia Tech is probably a better name, better known. I think it's probably easier to win at Virginia Tech. The ACC is not very top heavy, so if you got a good team, you can probably win a lot of games. And you really don't have a lot of competition. Wake Forest is good this year, but they still give up like 40 a game. Clemson struggles. Pitt's really good, but they've lost 2 games. North Carolina State, lost a couple games. So there's no dominant team in there. So if Virginia Tech can get right, or any of these teams can get right, like Wake Forest, they're 9-1, and their defense is pitiful. So I think you can have more success at Virginia Tech. South Carolina's gonna have them roadblocks every year. They're gonna finish up, generally with that Orange Crush part of the schedule, being Clemson, Florida, maybe Tennessee, Auburn, Georgia, and then whoever they play in the West. Periodically it's Alabama, it's LSU, Texas A&M, of course. So I think you can have more success at Virginia Tech simply because of the schedule. But South Carolina's had their success with Steve Spurrier. He caught it at the right time. I think Georgia and Florida and Tennessee were down. But nonetheless, you still won 10-plus games 3 years in a row. It can be done. You just got to win. You got to compete. And you got to recruit. You got to hit the cards just right sometimes. You got to have the Connor Shaw to take over for Steven Garcia, the Lattimore, the Swellingers, Clowneys, and Ingrams. And they don't have really that many pieces right now. Would Shane Beamer leave? Or would they pursue? Number one, I don't think they pursue Shane Beamer. Frank Beamer is an institution. His name has built that program. But while he was there winning those games, you think of names like Michael Vick, of course. You think of, really the defensive coordinator, Bud Foster, was there for the majority of that time. The special teams was great. They had some good runs, had some good running backs, had some good linebackers, had some good DBs. D'Angelo Hall, Darryl Tapp, Lee Suggs. They had some good players. I don't know that Shane Beamer's name really resonates with the fans. The last name resonates, but it wasn't like he was calling plays on either side of the football. It wasn't like he was really doing anything at Virginia Tech. It was more of his dad kind of thing. So I don't think, he may be on a long list, but I don't think he'll make a short list. A team like Virginia Tech probably wants to make a splash. They'll probably get one of these, guys who's winning at SMU or Tulane, or one of these mid-majors, even maybe a Billy Napier, maybe Jamie Chadwell. Depends on how they feel about moving up the ladder. I don't know what the budget money is, but to go to a Power 5 and be able to compete, if nothing else, it's another step forward. I think Shane Beamer on his side, I don't think he wants to leave South Carolina. He kind of got some foot in here with Spurrier and won some games, had some success, knows that if you're doing well, the fan base will love you and support you. He's getting paid well enough, so younger guy, comparatively speaking to the last few coaches, being Spurrier and Holtz before Muschamp. He may want to start over here, feel like he can win here. He won 5 games this year. That Missouri game's really going to hurt, I think, at the end of the year. Could have been the 6th win and bowl eligibility. But I don't think Shane Beamer wants to leave. I think he wants to stay here, and I think he will stay here. So where does Virginia Tech go from there? I don't know. I really hadn't read anything, or I don't know if there's any coaches that have any ties to Virginia Tech. But I think Shane Beamer's here for the duration. And, he really needs to recruit. There's some in-state guys he could really use. Some wide receivers in the Midlands he could use for this offense. There's some DBs really good on the Shrine Bowl team that he could use to shore up the defense. He's already got a couple commitments on the defensive line. Really needs to find a way to get some offensive linemen, whether that's transfer portal, whether that's recruiting, whether that's coaching up the guys he's got. Got to get that offensive line tightened up. And I feel like the running backs, we'll see what the Colton Gauthier kid, the redshirt freshman that's on the roster now, see what he's about next year, maybe. Jason Brown's got another year, Luke Doty. But they need a bigger play guy. Need a guy who can make it happen, like a Garcia, like a Connor Shaw. So hopefully, going forward, they help the roster they got. They can get to 6, 7, maybe 8 wins and start competing again in the SEC East. Next, Mel Tucker, former Georgia assistant, went through the ranks here, went to Colorado, ends up at Michigan State, has a really good year going. So they decide they want to give him an extension, a 10-year deal worth like $90 million. And we've seen this before, overreaction to a pretty good season. Season's not over yet. Probably going to lose at least one more game. So, the people in Lansing are so excited about a 10-win season that you're going to give a guy, $90 million over 10 years. Man, we've seen this before. We've seen this overreact. We've seen it in South Carolina. We saw Will Muschamp win 9 games his second year, go to a bowl and win and think, man, this guy right here, he has some unfortunate circumstances at Florida, but we're going to lock him up. 5-year deal and a bunch of money. And, not near as much as, Mel Tucker's getting. But, I mean, it's hard to sustain, man. Urban Meyer won 2 national championships. And then that following year after losing Tim Tebow, man, he kind of went in the dumpster. I think they ended up 8-5, but still, for Florida standards, coming off 2 national championships, he couldn't sustain. There's very few people that can sustain, man. Look at Ed Orgeron. He wins a national title 2 years ago, and now they running him out of town. Gene Chizik at Auburn won a national championship, run him out of town. Go and hire his assistant. He can't get the job done. Now he's at Central Florida. Man, there's a lot of factors. Like, Mel Tucker may be a good coach, but then again, you got to realize he may have had a good roster. He may have had a pretty decent roster coming in. And the same with what Will Muschamp did. You hadn't seen what Mel Tucker can do. And the Big Ten's cutthroat, man. I mean, you battling Michigan, you battling Ohio State. Iowa is good at times. Wisconsin, Purdue, Nebraska gets their share. And then you got national teams that go up north and grab a player or two. Alabama will get, a couple players here or there. Clemson might pull one from Ohio. It's just I think it's a overreaction. I don't think Mel Tucker was going anywhere. I mean, he's had one good season. I don't think, unless LSU was knocking on the door, or one of these other schools with a opening was going to pay him a boatload of money. It's an overreaction. It puts your athletic department in a hell of a mess, I feel. But good for Mel Carter, I guess. Mel Tucker, excuse me, not Mel Carter. Mel Carter was a wrestler at North Central that never lost, heavyweight champion like 4 years in a row. Built kind of like Mel Tucker, but a little bigger. But anyway, yeah, like I said, South Carolina got hamstrung paying Muschamp, and then you're in a situation where you keep losing or you pay a buyout. In 10 years, man, you never know what's going to happen. And especially if you don't get quarterbacks, I don't care. We see it right now with Iowa. Their defense is good, their running game is good. But if you don't have a quarterback who can win football games for you in the clutch, that's the one thing about Ohio State is they generally reload a quarterback. Michigan, on the other hand, has got guys transferring in and out. They don't have any consistency. Penn State, they got an athlete maybe that can run around, making little things happen, but nothing big like Wisconsin. They got to run the ball and play up. They got to beat you ugly. They got to win with defense and special teams and run the football. So for Michigan State to be successful, they're gonna have to have great offensive play. They can play defense, and but I think that's an overreaction. Anyway, moving on. You've probably seen this clip. It's called Brass Against. It's a band called Brass Against. And this past weekend, the lead singer said that she had to pee, somebody get her a bucket, or better yet, somebody to pee on or something. So somebody, a man, volunteers to go up on stage and lay down and have this lady urinate all over his face while she's singing. And I don't know how it went through the headlines about a day, and then it kind of disappeared. I don't know how that's not more of an issue. I'm at the point now, man, with COVID and everything going on, where I don't even want to shake somebody's hand. I'm a fist bump if necessary. I've been a head nodder for about 30 years. I'd rather just give you a head nod and say what's up, but if you need some validation, if you need some of that, I'll give you a dap. I can't understand at any point where I feel like, I know you say some crazy shit when you see a beautiful woman, but I never thought I've said I would let that chick pee on my face. That's something I don't think I would go to the extreme of. And not that she's not a good-looking woman, but I don't think at any point I would be like, hey, you're so fine, I want you to pee all over my face and head. And then the guy gets up and pulls the Triple H, spits it out all across the stage there. It's probably the grossest thing I've seen, especially in this era right now with the pandemic going on. I just can't understand. I wonder what would happen if a guy did such a thing. Like, I feel like the cancel culture would tear him to pieces. Maybe it's because this band sucks and nobody's ever heard of them. They play the heavy metal covers of like Rage Against the Machine and Tool and stuff like that with brass instruments. It's awful terrible. It looks like something off an ABC, it sounds like something off an ABC show, one of those sitcoms where the kid is playing a trumpet, versus a guitar and drums. So it's pretty bad, but I just can't figure how that ain't more of a headline. Damn grossest thing ever. So I'll leave you with that. Real quick, I want to show you a microcosm of our economy. Little Debbie's kind of got the finger on the pulse of everything. If you know me, you know I love a Little Debbie snack. I love them. I love to get a couple boxes, Swiss cake rolls, nutty bars, occasional fudge round. I'll eat them all. The Dunkin' Sticks, the strawberry roll, any of it, zebra roll. They're all good. But so last year, Little Debbie decided to go up on their prices. They made them a little bit bigger, but they went up like to $1. For a while, everything was 50 cents. But then they went up to $1. Some of it $1.29. 50 cents was that magical number. You're getting a construction worker in there, paying with change, paying with a couple singles. He ain't paying $1.29 for a Debbie cake. So much like the restaurant industry, where price of goods have went up, I guess price of goods for Little Debbie went up, so they thought they could just raise the price accordingly and everybody would go along with it. Didn't work out that way. Now, Little Debbie has done what most restaurants have done, where, used to be you had the 10 ounce sirloin, and you pay like, say, $15. But now cost of goods go up. Most people don't want to pay $20 for the 10 ounce sirloin. So what they're doing is they're still charging you $15, but they're giving you the 6 ounce sirloin. This is exactly what Little Debbie's done. They back to the 50 cent cake, but the nutty bars are about this wide. fudge round, it ain't about this big, but it's still 50 cents. Flying off the shelf, got me yesterday. Everything's 50 cents. It's a lot smaller, but in your mind, you'd rather pay 50 cents for less than 129 for more. And it's just what our economy's doing now. You know, you go and eat somewhere, you know, they're in a catch-22. Do they still give you the 10 ounce but charge you $22? Or do they back it down to a 6 ounce and charge you $15? Most people are electing to keep it at 15. Your brain says, man, it's still the same price. You're getting less food. But they probably give you more potatoes, more salad, something like that. Something that's cheap, something that's easy to compensate with. But I just thought that was interesting that, you know, Little Debbie's got the economic model down pat. You know, you want less is more. So we'll give you that 50 cent price, but you ain't getting about 3 bites of a Nutty Bar. And honestly, that's all you really need. That 4th and 5th bite wasn't that important. It's usually just a snack that tied you over till lunchtime anyway. So I thought that was interesting. Anyway, tonight we got some Thursday night football, but we also got the Major League Baseball MVP. MVPs will come out. I'm ready to see Ohtani win that. Ohtani is the best baseball player since Babe Ruth. I'll elaborate on that tomorrow. I don't know why we're waiting to the November, 18th, 19th to give these awards out. The World Series is already come and gone. We should have did these in those 6 games of the World Series when people still talking about baseball. It's kind of disrespectful right now where, you know, on the Thursday night, there's going to be college football, there's going to be NFL football, NBA, college basketball, hockey, everything else in the world. And you're going to have the presentation on MLB Network where most people don't even have that. And most people this time of year aren't watching it. Super disrespectful to the MVP. I think you should have did that maybe game 4. You know, 4 games were guaranteed. You should have did the manager, the rookies, the Cy Young, and then the MVPs. But anyway, Ohtani is going to take that home, no doubt. So good for him. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about the Thursday night game. Tiger King 2's coming out. I don't know that I'll get to watch it tonight because of the football, multiple football games, and then you know, some basketball as well. So we're going to get into that this weekend. If you get a chance, give it a look. We can discuss it. You can tell me where I'm right, where I'm wrong, or whether you liked it, whether you hated it. But anyway, have a good Thursday. Get ready for some football tonight. Appreciate you watching. See ya.